Greetings, folks. What we got here, look at that there. I've been wanting to make this video for a very long time, but I couldn't because I didn't have what is here. So, Resident Evil Director's Cut PS1 with the manual. The manual's in very good condition. The disc even. It has a little sticker residue on it right there, but that don't affect anything. The disc. Look at that condition, man. Look at that. I think I paid $8 for this game at a used retro video game store. This right here, this game has a very special place in my heart. I mean, this is what started it all for me. Resident Evil 2 Black Label Edition. Now, I bought this at a flea market about an hour or so away from me. And I overpaid big time. Bought this for $50. Found it on eBay the next day for $20. Alright, let's open her up. Now. Oh, Leon's disc. Look at that. Look at that disc condition on that one, dude. Almost damn near pristine condition for a 1998 PS1 game. Best thing ever. Let's put him back on here where he won't get scratched up. We have the manual. We can pull this one out. Look at the manual, man. Even it is in pristine condition. And then, of course, we flip this over, and we have Claire's disc. And how is its condition? Completely pristine, not a single scratch. There's no cracks in the case. Nothing. This here, it says you can win a part in the movie. So back in 1998, right as this was released, they were talking about making an RE movie. And it took them literally, like 4 more years to actually make the first Resident Evil movie that we got in the 6 movie thing. Can't believe I have it. I cannot believe I have this. Now, if you find this game sealed on eBay, factory sealed, $250. And then this one. This is why I couldn't make the video. I just got this off eBay. I paid a pretty penny for this game. But to me, is it worth it? Absolutely. No question. Now this one does have a slight issue that the case is broken. This is pretty common on the PS1 stuff. You know, if anyone that watches this has never owned a PS1 back in the day, the games are very prone to this happening. The manual for it does have some wear on it, you know, and I don't want to take it out. Capcom Edge. Who remembers Capcom Edge? Get 20 points towards merchandise. Now there's the disc. How is this disc? Pristine. Pristine condition. And now we put that back. It includes, at this time when this game was released, it did include the Dino Crisis demo disc that is pristine condition. I don't want to take this off because it's very hard. I don't want to break this. And then here's the back cover. Let's put this back together. Don't break it further. Come on. There she is. All right. Here's the back. It's in your blood. Jill Valentine. Look at this. Whoever bought this game back in the day paid $20 for it. I paid well over that. But these 3 games, Resident Evil 1, 1996. This is director's cut. They did change the music a little bit on this version, and they also added some difficulty levels to it, but it is the original RE, released in 1996. RE2 came in 1998. RE3 came in 99. Now, RE3, for those that don't know that are Resident Evil fans, you might not know this, or you might. This was intended to be a side game. It was not intended to be the third installment in the series. Code Veronica was supposed to be the original RE3. But they wanted to do one last game on the PS1 because PS1 was about to go out, PS2 was coming in. So in Japan, this is called Resident Evil Last Escape. So the developers were just like, you know what? Just take that off. Slap 3 on here. Call it Nemesis for him. And then, the game is great. You can definitely tell that the action started to come in 3. But when Nemesis is on you, in this game, it is just as nerve-wracking as it was when I got this game for Christmas in 1999. I mean, it puts you on edge because unlike the remake, you didn't know where Nemesis was going to pop up. Now, there were some points where he didn't appear for a while because you had to go get some puzzle items and stuff like that. And this game has one of the hardest puzzles in Resident Evil history until you learn the pattern of it. The water puzzle in the Dead Factory. Now, RE1 remake that they did for GameCube and then released on PS4 as part of the Origins collection is an amazing game. It's a completely faithful remake to this. Resident Evil 2 remake that came out in 1990. Not 1990, what the hell? 2019 is a faithful remake of this game. I mean, it puts you right back in that nostalgic 1990s feel. They did change some things, and I think the B scenario could have been a little better and not so similar to A, but that, we got what we got. And then we come to this one. RE3 Remake. Insanely short game. Fun game. Very fun game to sit down, play through, have fun with. But man, we got robbed. We did. If you guys get a PS2, let's say, like I did, and you find this game and play it, you're either going to love the remake of RE3, or this game is going to further your hatred for that game. Because this game, they cut almost half of this game out in the remake. Raccoon City was condensed down to 2 streets. Clock Tower's gone. Graveyard's gone. Gravedigger boss fight's gone. The park is gone. The Dead Factory is gone. And the ending for this game. When you see that cutscene at the end, it's heart-wrenching for true RE fans. Because when I first played this game, and I finished it for the first time, I sat in my chair, looking at my TV, and I was like, that's it. There's no way they could make another game. Because anyone that's played the remake knows Raccoon City is destroyed. So how could there be Resident Evil without Raccoon City and without Umbrella? And then, of course, the series carried on 4, 5, 6, 7, and now 8. And loads of side games. But these games, for those that have not played them, that are RE fans, say you started with 4, right? Get a PS2 or get a PS1, find these games, and play them. Because there's nothing else like these. They're expensive to get a hold of. Now this one, Director's Cut. Let's talk about this for a second. The Black Label version, not the Greatest Hits version, like here. The Black Label version was a 2-disc version that had the RE2 demo that went with it. And when you played the game, it still had the difficulty selections, but all of the original music from the original Resident Evil was all kept in the game. They didn't change any of the music up. So, to me, that one is a much more faithful director's cut of the game. Now, if you find that game, the original Resident Evil, that's Black Label, I don't even think they did a greatest hits version of it. If you find that sealed up, factory sealed, dude, you're looking at some killer money. I mean, there was one guy that had it in the long case, that was Black Label on the side, and he wanted $10,000 for this game. And I was like, what? There's no freaking way I'd pay that. Who in their right mind would pay that? And then I got to reading his description. And apparently he'd bought it new and never opened it. He bought 2 copies of the game. One to play and one to stash away. And then he took that game that he did not open and had it graded somewhere. And it's absolute mint. And apparently, it must be worth that. I don't know. But yeah, if you guys haven't played these games, you are missing out on one of the best gaming experiences you could ever have. I mean, I can sit down and play through these games and still know all of it. Exactly where to go, exactly what to do, when to do certain puzzles, when not to do them, how to get through the game with the fastest time possible, all that stuff. Now this one, I kind of made some different choices that I hadn't done in a while, because this is the first one to include QuickTime events. And they took that out of the remake, which I'm pretty happy about. That's one thing I like about the remake. They took out the QuickTime events. Because to me, they're not really needed, But there were moments in this one that you can make a certain choice, and the game would go a different way. So there's loads of replayability here. Now this one, RE2, has loads of replayability. Each character has their own disc. Does anyone ever wonder why that is that hasn't played these? Why would you need 2 discs for a game? They each have 2 scenarios. So you need a full disc for Leon to have his A and B scenario on it. Then you need a full disc for Claire to have her A and B scenario. Now the canon story of RE2 is Claire A. Then you would take that, take that out after you beat A, put in Leon's disc and play Leon B. That is the canon story of RE2. And then Director's Cut is RE1. And there's only one way you can play this game, There's no choices to make. Now, there are choices as far as saving certain characters. By the end of the game, you get different endings. Stuff like that. But other than that, there's no A, B scenario. It's just one game. You play through it, then you're done. But on this, if you complete it on, I think it's normal, within 3 hours, you get an infinite rocket launcher. And apparently on here, if you beat arrange mode, which is hard, where it randomizes items and makes the camera angles look different. It's almost like you're playing a different game. But if you beat the arrange mode on here, on hard, you apparently get an infinite magnum at the end. Which would be really fun to go through the game with a Colt Python 357 Magnum. But I wanted to put these on because these are my favorite games of all time. Now, I've recently gotten into the Soul series big time, but these, there's nothing else like them. Not to me. Now, a lot of people might see this video and be like, oh, dude, the new ones are better. That's fine. If that's what you think, and that's your opinion, that's fine. But for me, RE4 started the death knell of what Resident Evil is, The survival horror was completely gone. Now the remake is coming next month. I've already pre-ordered it. Got the deluxe edition. And it's looking like, from what I've read about it, it's shaping up to be great. And I really hope they don't let us down. You know, the only thing I don't want it to be is a carbon copy of the original game. You know, because I've played that game so many times. Although I'm kind of contradicting myself here a little bit because they could make carbon copies of all three of these games, and I'd play them with bells on, no issues. Because it's just nostalgia factor. It's fun. And these games have puzzles in them that require you to use your brain. It's not simple solutions. You can't just guess at it until you get it right. Well, there's actually a puzzle in here in RE3 that you do actually have to guess until you get it right, because that's how the puzzle is designed. But for most of the puzzles in this game, except for that one that's in RE3, they are completely random. So there's usually 3 different solutions that you can have for the clock puzzle, the water puzzle, and the vaccine puzzle with Carlos in this game. RE2's puzzles, not that difficult. They really aren't. It's just finding the items that makes them hard. RE1, it has some challenging puzzles for the first time that you play it, you know. But once you play through the game and you memorize it, you'll be flying through it no problem. Now there is a certain section in this game that a lot of new players that I've watched play the game for the first time actually end up screwing themselves on. I won't mention what part that is for those that want to play this game for the first time, but you can actually use up your ammo, and you'll be pretty much useless, defenseless, until you can find some more ammo later in the game. Resident Evil 2, just a lot of fun. Outside of the director's cut here, this is the first RE game to ever have a difficulty selection, and all you had is easy and normal. That was it. And then this one has easy and hard. RE1 here, until director's cut, did not have a difficulty. But oh yeah, let's look at the back of that box. Now, if you were a kid in the 90s and you saw that, you were like, whoa, dude, I want to play this. This is awesome looking. It looks so scary. And the game would terrify you because you're a little kid. RE2, of course, on the back. Can you survive the horror? Just those scenes that they have made me want to play this game. I was like, oh, dude, a police officer? Yes. And Leon, he's the reason that I wanted to be a cop when I was a kid. And by the way, the voice actor for Leon here, this case is a little old, so Leon's discs don't quite stay on there. But the original voice actor for Leon, Paul Haddad, he passed away in 2019, I believe it was. And very sad day for the RE community, because to me, he will always be Leon. Now, I know Paul Mercer, he did great. Paul Mercer did it once, and I think Matt Mercer did it. And they were both great. And then Nick Apostolidis, that does it in RE2 Remake and RE4 Remake. I like him as Leon as well. But he will always be Leon to me, Paul Haddad. And then, of course, Claire. Allison Court will always be Claire to me. She voiced her in this game and in Code Veronica. And then when Revelations 2 came out, I found out, oh, you get to play as Claire. Yes! I was so happy because she's my favorite female character. But they changed her voice actor. And I was like, it feels like you're playing as a completely different character. Now let's talk about Jill. As most people know, Julia Voth will always be Jill. For most RE fans. For me, Catherine Fisher, that voiced her in RE3, that's Jill to me. That's just my opinion, you know. But I wanted to put these up, let you guys see them, because these games, they're gems, man. They really are. And boy, are they expensive. Now, when I was a kid, had I known this game is pushing $300 sealed, this game is $250 sealed, This game is $250 sealed. Had I known that when I was a kid, I would have done what that guy on eBay did and bought me 2 copies of these games, played the hell out of 3 of them, put the other 3 away. Because we're coming up on 30 years of Resident Evil. Just think what those games would be worth. In factory sealed mint condition, man. If I had done that with all the games I owned on the PS1, over 50, dude, I would be sitting on a freaking gold mine right now. But, we're kids. At that time when these came out, I was a kid and I had to play them. There was no question. I was opening those games and I was playing them. But let's get one more look at them before I end the video. Very cool stuff, dude. Very cool stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed this little look at Resident Evil Director's Cut 96, RE2 98, and RE3 1999. Take care, guys. And just like guitar, when you play your video games, whatever games you like, play what you play, man. And I hope that anyone that's doing runs on their games that they love, that your runs go well. Take care, everybody.